What's going on, guys? Radio Graffiti here, and today I want to talk to you guys about Blue Beetle. I will be going into spoilers, so if you haven't seen the movie, which most of you people haven't probably, because the movie is already flopping hard at the box office, then come back to this when you actually see the film, or if you just don't care, then welcome. So, Blue Beetle. I've been shitting on this movie the whole time because the trailers made the movie look extremely generic, look like a million other superhero films we've already seen before. And after watching the film, I can say it is a very generic superhero film. It's one of the most generic, copy-paste superhero films I've seen. I'd say it's probably better than Ant-Man 3 and maybe better than Shazam 2. I don't know. I think Shazam 2 and Blue Beetle kind of fight each other. They're both pretty generic superhero films, so there's not much of a real difference between them. Maybe Blue Beetle's like a slightly better film than Shazam 2. I wouldn't put it above The Flash, though. I like The Flash a lot better. So what did I not like about Blue Beetle? Well, like I said, the movie borrows from a lot of other superhero films. Reminded me of Shazam with the whole, oh, it has to choose you for you to get your powers sort of thing. Reminded me of Iron Man with the suit and the way it kind of shows him inside the suit and him having a bad guy that has the exact same basically powers as him, quote unquote powers. Reminds me of Iron Man's ending with Iron Man versus Jeff Bridges. Reminded me a lot of Spider-Man, where we have a broke superhero who's a young guy who has to learn his powers, who loses a father or a father figure in his life. Reminded me of Venom with kind of the body horror stuff where he can't control what he's doing. There's even a scene in the film where the bad guys try to interrogate someone he loves, and then they're all like, "Where is he?" And then he comes out of nowhere and beats up the bad guy. Reminded me a lot of Man of Steel with the whole "how dare you threaten my mother" scene. But yeah, you guys get the point. It copies from a lot of fucking different superhero films. The humor I didn't find very funny at all throughout the film. It was very cringy. I didn't laugh at a single scene throughout the whole film. The only scene that maybe somewhat tried to get a smirk out of me was at the end of the movie with the grandma and her kind of craziness. That's pretty much it. Everything else is just very Nickelodeon type. Like nothing I would find funny. It's more like general audience type humor. Like, the family is very annoying, and for some reason I think it's funny or something to have the family scream and yell a lot throughout the film. It makes them very obnoxious. I didn't really care about the characters at all. So when the dad dies in the film, I was just like, whatever, I don't really care. I never felt a connection to the characters. And then it's like the dad dies, and then 2 scenes later we're flying in a fucking Blue Beetle plane. And it's like, are you fucking kidding me? And they're all like, oh, look at these cool gadgets. And like, didn't we just have our quote unquote big emotional moment? Like, her dad just died and then she's in here in a Blue Beetle thing, in a Blue Beetle jet, saying, oh, this tech is so cool. Wow, that didn't take long for her to get over that, did it? And the villains throughout this film, they are terrible. Let me tell you, these are awful villains. We get this bad guy henchman. He has no story at all. They try to rush his story at the very end. It was the most crazy shit I've ever seen in a superhero film in a long time. Literally, he's about to die, and they're like, oh, wait, hey, no, he's actually not that bad of a guy, let me show you. And then we get all these quick flashbacks of his past or whatever. I'm like, what the fuck? Are they really trying to make us care about this character at the very end? What the fuck? This is so crazy. I've never seen a film be so lazy and rushed. Like, where was all this throughout the rest of the film? Like, they give tiny, barely ass hints, and then out of nowhere, he's like, oh, I'm a good guy now, because Blue Beetle doesn't kill him. Now suddenly this bad guy is like, oh, well, I'm a good guy now. I'm going to join you. I'm going to kill this woman. Why didn't he do this a lot sooner? I don't. And then Hillary Clinton is basically the main bad guy of the film. I don't know what her character's name is. So I'll just call her Hillary Clinton because that's what she looks like. She was just your typical, oh, I don't care about anybody. I just want to get power and money white woman in a movie. You've seen this role a million times. Not just in superhero films, but other films. She's a nothing burger. I didn't feel anything for her character at all. Just nothing to her. Just there to basically have someone for the bad guy to go against. That's pretty much it. I think it was very funny at the end of the film where what's her name? Blue Beetle's girlfriend's all like, when will I see you again? And I just kept thinking in my head, you won't, bitch. James Gunn rebooting this fucking DC universe. You guys are all done. He can say Blue Beetle's coming to the DCU all he wants to. I won't believe it until I see it. So as far as I'm concerned, this is the end of this. You start and end with this movie. I don't see this continuing any farther in the DC universe. And I don't even see why Blue Beetle even got a film. I mean, The guy is cool in Young Justice and with the Teen Titans, but his own solo film? I don't understand why he ever got a solo film. He didn't really seem like that interesting of a character to get his own movie. But hey, representation. I guess that's basically their only selling point for it. I don't know, it would have been a lot cooler, I think, if they just made a Young Justice film or a Teen Titans movie. I think that would have been a lot cooler. Because they obviously didn't have much to work with the character itself. Oh, and you gotta love that scene where he's all like, oh, we're gonna lose the house at the beginning of the film. And I thought the whole movie was gonna be about, oh, well, Jamie, he's broke, or Jaime, whatever his name is. He's broke, he's gonna try to get the money to save their house or whatever. They're gonna make us care about that. It's gonna be a lot about the family. And then that's never brought up ever again. He's like, oh, I need a job. And then it goes like nowhere throughout the rest of the film. It's never resolved or anything. Like, you just kind of forgot about it throughout the film. But I don't want to be such a negative Nancy, but it is what it is. There are some things I did like. I think the cast was pretty good. I think the main actor, I have no idea how to pronounce his name. He did a pretty good job. And I also really liked him as a character. I guess he did a good job with what he was given for the film. And the Blue Beetle suit itself is actually pretty cool. I really liked it. And I liked all the body horror stuff that was going on in the film. Yeah, it was actually pretty hardcore for a PG-13 superhero film. It literally looks like something out of a rated R horror film. Like, you see his face and his eyes just turn black, and he's just like, goog is coming out of his mouth. It looked really terrifying. I liked that part. That was really fucking dope. It's a shame it only happens for like a scene or two, but it was still pretty cool. But yeah, the third act is just another CGI fest where they just beat each other up. I checked out at the end of the film. Honestly, it was so boring. I'm sure teenagers might want to see this, but I was just so bored. It's just, they're blasting each other with their blasters over and over. They're punching each other. They're punching each other through buildings and cars. They're going everywhere. It was just so boring. I did not care at all. This movie was just, I'll say mid. I'll be generous and say it was just a mid movie. Now, you can watch it once, but you'll probably never want to watch it again. It was fine for what it is. Just another fun superhero film. It's a little darker than you probably will expect if you're used to, you know, the pussy shit. Yeah, that's about it for my thoughts on Blue Beetle. I don't really have much to say about it than what I've already said. It's just a mid superhero film. Copies from a lot of other things. If you're big on superhero films, a lot of this will feel very familiar to you. So yeah, DCEU, it's almost dead. Whenever Aquaman 2 comes out, we can finally move on from this pile of shit of a universe. DC is just a complete disaster right now. So yeah, what did you guys think about Blue Beetle? Have you seen it? Probably not. But for those of you who did, the few minority of you who did, what did you think about it? Do you think I'm tripping? Is this movie actually really good? Is it better than The Flash? Or do you agree with me that this shit was just really mid? Same thing we've seen a million times before. Didn't really bring anything brand new to superhero films, which you kind of gotta do at this point, because there's like 50 of them that come out every like 3 years. So you gotta do something different with your superhero films. You can't just do the same old thing we've seen before. This movie probably would have slapped in like 2010 or something, when superhero movies weren't that big. But by this point, we've seen just about everything.